Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Late Night Radio with Freemanjack. We'll be taking you into the late hours, way into the late hours, and bending your mind.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature, Mr. Bill, and
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Freemanjack with the Open Omniversity. This is our first broadcast on People's Internet Radio. First of all, I'd like to give the listeners a sort of potted introduction to what is an omniversity. In order to introduce the concept of the omniversity, first of all, the terminology. The reason why I chose omniversity was as a diametric opposite to university. Effectively, a university is somewhere where you often go that's away from home, away from your friends and family. You're taken out of your home environment. You are essentially made to conform to a very strict set of absorbing and then regurgitating of a very strict set of single data. You may be inclined to pursue some courses of research during your education, but largely the education that you will receive at university will be on a single subject, and it will be on the agreed part of that single subject alone. Now, firstly, because of the digital revolution, the age of the university has essentially passed. By the time any university degree course can make it to the paperwork that feeds into that degree course, which the students will rely on, it is at least 5 years out of date. That is the lead time that it takes for the work to be accepted, for it to be induced into the university curriculum, and for that induction to then be produced into something that can be seen as a semblance of an exam grade subject material. So essentially every subject being taught at university, by the time it's being taught, is at least 5 years old. And in the modern age, as you're about to hear during the course of this show, 5 years is too old. Now, that's not to say that science is entirely without its merits. And moreover, you'll have just spent the last 2 hours listening to the fabulous Unique Lee, on his Dark Side of the Room, and in enough respect for his researches and for the fabulous work that he does, exposing the matters that he exposes. However, broadly, the mediums that he is going to for the source of that information are propagandized. They are the mainstream medias, and even if they are reporting on mainstream science, that mainstream science is, broadly speaking, propagandized. The version of mainstream science that we receive through the mainstream media is incredibly heavily filtered. To a degree, I can make this point in absolute clarity for you. How many programs are there on television that you can think of currently that cover any aspect of computer science? I was thinking about this earlier, and apart from an occasional Horizon on the BBC and an occasional perhaps special on BBC4, the only programs that routinely cover computer science are the silly little 15-minute short on the news channel of Click Online, and the Channel 5 Gadget Show. And even that covers nothing of computer science. It's largely just, buy this, it's good. So the concept of omniversity was one of the diametric opposite of the university. I began to realise that the reason why I was arriving at the, for my mind, more reasonable and rational conclusions than those presented through mainstream medias of the sciences was simply that I had had such a diverse group of interests, and due to my diligence had managed to pursue them to some satisfaction and some conclusion. And so the omniversity in its very conception is that it is the open door, it is the university that comes to your home. It's not a university though, it's an omniversity. We're not aiming to teach you a single subject, we're aiming to teach you about every subject. So in the next few weeks I hope to be covering on a very broad base of issues. I will do my very best to present each one of those issues from its very most basic concepts, going through as the program progresses through to some sort of a conclusion about the state of that subject, the state of the current science on that subject, and how it's likely to move forward moving into the future.